How's it going, guys? It's Javi here from WeatherSponge 5000. Today is August 16th, 2018. As you can see here, we're watching the Eastern Pacific, which seems to be the only area of interest, which is Tropical Storm Lane. And obviously, we do have some disturbances in the Atlantic as usual for August, but fortunately is that Ernesto seems to be going out to sea and not going to be much of a worry. As it's subtropical, it's 40 miles per hour, and it seems like it's going to get absorbed by an extratropical storm that's basically going to flow with the westerlies. So we're not going to worry about that as of right now. As of right now, we're going to worry about Tropical Storm Lane, which is basically around the coordinates of 125 west and 10 north. The millibar pressure has lowered from when I recorded 24 hours ago, where the millibar pressure was at 1,008 millibars. Now it's at 1,003, obviously, since it strengthened, because last time I did a report, which was about 24 hours ago, it was a 35 mile per hour tropical depression, and it was expected to strengthen, and it did so as it strengthened to a 50 mile per hour tropical storm, and it's moving west along a ridge of high pressure that's just to the north of it at about 13 miles per hour. So let's look at the track of this. So this, as you can see by track, this could become a potential hurricane and even a major hurricane as it approaches near the Hawaiian Islands. As you could see, by 5 days from now, it's expected to be a Category 3 storm, which is quite major for Hawaii if this comes anywhere near the coast, even if it doesn't directly impact you guys, which is also the most likely scenario with most hurricanes that come to Hawaii due to a strong ridge of high pressure that's always centered to the north. It's still going to bring big waves and strong winds. However, there's still that possibility that it could make direct impacts to Hawaii, so don't let your guard down just yet. But it's still ways away, 7 days away, but it seems to be, but as forecasters, we have a general confidence that it's going to go straight west. We don't expect it to do some weird turn to the north or the south, because we have this consistent ridge of high pressure that's just to the north of it, and there's no real there's not much any other steering currents that's going to steer this off course of the cone, most likely, since it's basically going to ride along the high pressure. But weather could change. Obviously, weather is surprising, so don't be surprised if it also does. But we at least have the general idea with this hurricane that it's going to go straight west, unlike with other hurricanes where there's a bunch of steering patterns. But out here in the Pacific, most of the weather is consistent. And let's look at Tropical Storm Lane in the satellite loop in the IR blaster, and we see those very high cloud tops right in the center, and you can see it looks very healthy as a storm. We obviously not only see thunderstorms basically rising and basically forming right along, developing right along the eye, we also see organization with the thunderstorms, which is not very common to see with 50 mile per hour tropical storms. Usually 50 mile per hour tropical storms would look slightly more disorganized, with thunderstorms revolving around, not really, and the center isn't really defined. In this imagery, you could see that it's obvious where the center is. You could obviously see evidence of convection and rotation, especially in the outer bands of this, and you could see some areas of outflow where I'm pointing the mouse right now, and you could see that there's nice outflow with this. There's a whole lot of thunderstorms developing off of this, and it's over about high 80-degree water. So, and there's no real wind shear or dry air to disrupt it, and it just seems like the conditions are very favorable for this to continue to strengthen, especially since we're entering an El Nino phase, close to an El Nino phase, which basically makes it more conducive for development, since the Pacific usually ends up more humid and has more rising air as a result of a potential El Nino, especially in the eastern Pacific. And this thing is expected to strengthen. No real wind shear, like I said, no real dry air that's going to disrupt it, and it's just going to take a path. So definitely Hawaii should be watching this. But looking at the computer models, which I could show right now, so as you could see with the computer models, they're taking a very similar track to the west, no real different turn. But what I'm noticing with the GFS is that it brings Tropical Storm Lane scarily close to the Hawaiian coast, which is very scary to look at, as it brings it a little bit more up north than the European model. And these are both very reliable models. But the good news is that we're actually really getting the confidence that it's going to take this western turn. But it seems like the GFS is going to take it more up north, which is obviously the bigger threat to Hawaii. But the good news is that the GFS seems to be weakening it as it enters Hawaii, while the European model also does the same thing, but takes it further more south, which is definitely the track most people residing in Hawaii are hoping for. So it takes it slightly more south than the GFS, and weaker, much weaker than GFS. The GFS is taking this storm nearly at a Category 4 strength by millibar pressure, bringing that millibar pressure down to 965. I think with the European, the lowest it goes is 985, which is about equivalent to about a Category 1, Category 2 hurricane, which is still could be pretty bad for Hawaii, but not as bad as it would be with a Category 3 or higher hurricane, or a major hurricane like the GFS model might be taken to Hawaii. So definitely keep this in watch, Hawaii, and make sure to listen to your local forecast, or even me, for the next several days. And as for the timing of this, it should come close to Hawaii about 6-7 days from now. I would say Wednesday of next week, maybe even Tuesday. The GFS is stating is bringing it on Wednesday, more towards Thursday. So the timing is a little bit different between two, but make sure during the middle of the work week to keep track of that. Other than Tropical Storm Lane, it's extremely quiet in the Atlantic side of things, because we're having this pattern where we're just having sinking air in all sides from where I'm pointing. And the darker you see the blacks, the darker you see the blacks, the drier the air is. And a lot of this is due to the US filled with lower pressures. And in meteorology, all meteorologists should know that if there's rising air in one area, if there's a lot of it, there has to be a lot of sinking air with it, because not all the air in the world could rise. So it seems like this is where most of the air is sinking in the Atlantic. And where I'm pointing, that's Tropical Storm Lane right there. I'm gonna give a satellite imagery. Okay guys, I apologize for calling this storm Tropical Storm Lane. It's actually called Subtropical Storm Ernesto, and it's a 40-mile-per-hour subtropical storm, which basically means it has a mixed characteristics of a tropical storm and basically extra tropical storm. So it's basically getting its strength from both the instability in the atmosphere, basically, and also the warm waters of the Atlantic, which is especially warm for this time of the year, which actually could hinder development in the main development region, which is basically between the coast of Africa and the coast of Caribbean. But you can see it looks very disorganized. It doesn't even look like a real tropical storm. You could argue that this is like basically an upper level trough that's just caught a tropical storm just because of the warm waters, adding extra feel to it. But it isn't anything much and should get absorbed by the westerlies, by the extra tropical trough that's going to come from the westerlies. But anyways guys, I thank you guys for watching. New videos every day. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and see you guys next time.